What is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're taking a look at the new Kizaru, the new Moria, and the DEX team in some Pirate Rumble over here on the Japanese side of the game. And in today's video, we are going to be bullying those big old quick teams. So before we hop into some fights, let's take a look at what these new units do, and we're going to take a quick look at the team as well. So for Kizaru, his Rumble level 10 special does 1000 fixed damage to an enemies in a large range. He gives your DEX allies level 3 defense up for 17 seconds and has level 5 attack up as well. His Pirate Festival ability does DEX allies level 5 speed, level 5 defense up, and then he does level 5 speed down to quick enemies as well. And as you guys can see from the screen, he is on a 17 turn cooldown. He is immune to Special Seal and has 30% incoming quick damage reduction, as well as attacking nearby enemies. He also has a heal in his attack pattern as well. He gets normal attack, strong attack, heal, and then normal attack once again. But this is the particular team that we are working with today. We are still using Kid. Kid is still a phenomenal Rumble unit. He does a lot of damage with his special. He gives defense up. He gives HP up on his passive and level 2 defense up as well, which is really, really nice. We have Queen here. Queen is really, really good as well. I actually really enjoy using Queen. I think on paper, Queen's very, very good. Queen can give like level 7 HP up. And I think he does defense up level 3 as well in his passive. With his special, I don't have his special maxed out. I will be getting there, but at level 10 he does 5000 fixed damage to one enemy. With me, he does 4500, and then he has a 50% chance of action binding 2 enemies, and does level 7, what does he do? He does level 7 speed up or something like that. I can't exactly remember what the level 7 is, but he's very, very good, and he's great on this particular team. The next unit we have is Moria. Now, this Moria is the quick killer. He does so much work. His level 10 special does level 3 defense down to enemies in a large range. Then he does another level 5 defense down to quick enemies. So all quick enemies get level 5 defense down no matter what. And then he does 1.5 times the attack in a sideways medium range. So once he's done all that defense down, he can output a lot of damage. If you have Kid coming in after that, you can do a lot more damage to all enemies as well. And it just works really, really nicely. His ability does level 5 attack up, level 2 defense up to DEX allies. And at the start of the battle for 40 seconds, gives himself level 5 attack up. So his passive isn't incredible, not like Rebecca Toy Soldier, but that's special when you are versing those quick teams is very, very nice. He's immune to paralysis and has 30% reduction to quick damage as well, just like Kizaru does. I'm pretty sure all these characters do. The final unit in the front lines is Cavendish. Now, Cavendish is ridiculously good now that we have these two particular units. Cavendish always pops off after Moria does, and he does a single target damage. I think it's the character with the highest attack or highest recovery or something like that. And he can hit so damn hard. He hits like 9k, and usually that means he just takes out Luffy, which is really, really nice for the team. You avoid all that haste, and you avoid all those extra damage and specials, which is really, really cool. On the bench, we have the man Zoro. You guys know how great this guy is as a nuker. He does so much damage in the last 30 seconds. Even in the last 50 seconds, he's very, very strong as well. We've got Soba as a backup as well in the last 40 seconds. Very similar to Zoro. He just does 2 big nuking shots, which is really, really nice. And then finally, we've got Whitebeard in the back as well. Whitebeard's just a great extra bench unit. But you could easily replace him with any other nuker that you guys can find. So that's the team. As I mentioned, we're going to be fighting purely quick teams in today's video. Just showcasing the power of Kizaru and Moria. And with that said, let's dive in. Alright, so fight number 1, we're coming up against rank number 16 over here in the exhibition. This guy's actually using a Cracker King combination, which means that he's going to get a lot of special cooldown, as well as having a little bit more speed, which is really, really cool for him. It means that he can just sort of start outputting a little bit more damage a little bit more quickly. He's using PvP Whitebeard in the front. PvP Whitebeard is actually really good in the front if you are running the quick team, but he does have Shiryu as well. Now, he's using Shiryu as his first bench slot, as well as using Stussy as well. Now, they're 2 units when you are running the quick team that you actually really want to be in the front lines. So ideally, if it was me, I'd be having that Shiryu in the front at least, and putting the PvP Whitebeard as my first bench slot. That's just me though, but having PvP and Whitebeard in the or coming up against the DEX team actually works quite nicely. Namely because he has that ability to special seal powerhouse units, or I think it's powerhouse or driven units. It might be like powerhouse or striker. The big reason that that's so beneficial for the quick team is we're using stuff like Kid, we're using stuff like Moria, and we're using stuff like Queen. Now, none of those units are actually immune to Special Seal. Kizaru is, but Kizaru is not one of the targets. So, having PvP Whitebeard in the front can actually work wonders, as not only is he going to reduce the defense down, do a lot of damage, but he has that chance to Special Seal some of our units as well. Now, we have Queen coming in after that. And we did have Kid come in as well and do their specials. Cavendish managed to pop his special off, but unfortunately with this particular fight, we had Moria pop off after them. So I wanted to showcase this because even if you do have your specials popping off early before you get that defense down from Moria, you will still be in good stead, as this team has a lot of defense replenishment, as well as having a nice chunky HP pool of around 12. The downside to this DEX team that I did find is the damage output. Now, ideally, once you start getting towards the sort of 40-second mark, like right now, we actually really want Cavendish to actually die. So if you want to move Cavendish to like the 2nd or 4th slot, so that way he's taking a few more shots, I wouldn't recommend putting him in the middle because his special still does a lot of damage. His special still can take out enemies very, very easily. But ideally, once we sort of hit this sort of 40 seconds to 30-second mark, we really want Zoro coming in. And the big reason we want Zoro coming in is Zoro does a lot of damage in the last 30 seconds. He outputs 3 big nuking shots, and it can basically just board wipe the enemies. Like, if they're all in like a nice chunky pool together like they are right now, Zoro is literally just going to say, see you later. We managed to get Zoro popping off right on that 30-second mark, so he would have had another shot coming. And at this point now, it's just GG. So Moria's going to clean up the scraps, and we're going to say goodbye to that big old quick team. So no issues for the DEX team in the first fight. Let's move on to the next fight now. Alright, so moving on to the next team now, we're versing another quick team. And this guy's actually using the Capone Pirates. Now, Capone's really good because he can boost Driven, which most of the quick team actually is. He does have the Super Type Luffy though, but he is using Super Type Luffy in the back. And I imagine he's doing this because his whole front line is Driven Powerhouse. Now, even with Miguel in the front lines, not being a driven unit, he's actually still going to be getting that buff from the Capone Pirates, or the Fire Tank Pirates, because he is a shooter unit. So, Capone, when he comes out, he's a Kizuna exclusive legend. He will be the next Kizuna legend to come to Global as well. But he's very, very good in Rumble. He's very very good for the driven shooter team, namely the driven team. The driven team in Rumble is very, very strong with the likes of stuff like V3 Blackbeard. You can even slap on things like Moria. You have all the good quick units like Kaido, like Akainu, and like Shiryu. They're all driven units. So they all can sort of work under the Capone team as well. You've also got stuff like V1 Dofi. He's very, very good. You've got Katakuri, another really good option. So when it comes to driven, they don't really have a set team, but there is a lot of blending that you can do. Nevertheless, though, it didn't manage to sort of save this guy's team. As you guys saw there, we had Queen come in and get that action bind. Queen's action bind can be so handy. And it's just so nice when you actually manage to get it to pop off. Now, when it comes to Kizaru and his 1000 fixed damage, when I first read it and I did my video about the unit, I wasn't a big fan of the 1000 damage, to be honest. I thought it should have been a little bit higher. But after testing the unit, that 1000 damage is just basically a bonus. The real reason you want Kizaru's special to go off is to give you itself that attack up and that defense up. The extra 1000 damage that he does is just like a nice little chip away at the enemy, and can actually manage to take out some enemies. So here we are again at the 40-second mark. We do have Moria popping off once again. We do manage to lose our Cavendish, which is really nice because in 9 seconds, our big dog Zoro is going to start doing a lot of damage. Now, stereotypically on most teams, when Zoro comes in, it's sort of a little bit scary for not only the enemy, but for the person using Zoro. Now, the big reason that is you want him to come in basically with his special, do a nuking shot, and then just basically end the match. But on most stereotypical teams that aren't the DEX team, he doesn't have a lot of defense to sort of hang around and sort of survive long enough to actually get that shot off. But over here on this particular team, when he comes in and he has 12 defense, we really don't have to worry about him dying. And then that way, we always know that he's going to do something like this and just absolutely decimate the opposition. So that was the quick driven sort of little combo there with Capone. Let's move on to another fight now. Alright, so moving on to the 10th spot. Now, this guy here is using that big dog quick team, the meta team as we like to call it. It does use Luffy in the front. They've got stuff like Magellan, Akainu, and Kaido, as well as using PvP Shiryu to sort of rope the team together. He has a very, very strong bench as well. He's using stuff like PvP Whitebeard, Silvermask, and even the PvP Smoker. That PvP Smoker is actually really, really good as a bench unit on most teams because of that miss chance that he can give. I was really hoping to pick up that Smoker or even Virgo. That way I can sort of like muck around with the int team a little bit more. But even without the int team, that Smoker can be really, really nice as a backbench unit. Very similar to like Rebecca Toy Soldier. As even if they're not on their side team, they can just sort of help your team sort of clutch the back end of the fight. Now, this particular fight that we are looking at right here, I think was the closest I ever came to losing with this DEX team when we were coming up against Quick. Now, the DEX team had no issues against any fight that I was doing when it came to the Quick team, except for this particular fight here. This one started to make me think that maybe that with some good RNG, the Quick team can still get above the DEX team. But as time went on and we sort of kept dropping their defense, we kept outputting a lot of damage, it started to just look a little bit more one-sided. So, as you can see, if Moria can get his special off before you manage to get Cavendish's special off, you're pretty much always going to be killing Luffy, which is really, really nice. Cavendish does have a target system where he targets an enemy with a certain, I think it's an attack pool, or it might be a recovery pool, or something like that. But when it comes to the Quick team, that Luffy is always in the firing line of the Cavendish special. And if you can get level 8 defense down, and then have Cavendish hit his like big single target nuking shot, Luffy just never stands a chance. So we managed to take out Luffy, we managed to take out Kaido, but then he does have his 2 bench units coming in with a little bit of time left. Now, Sober Mask is looking very scary because we are in the final 40 seconds of the fight, and he does have his special ready to go. We are copying a lot of his shots from Miguel, and we're getting a lot of defense down, which means that when that Sober Mask special hits, it's actually going to do a lot of damage. So we do actually lose Kid, and then we have Whitebeard come in. Whitebeard takes out our Moria and our Kizaru, and this is what I was saying where it was looking a little bit shaky, but with a strong bench, namely Zoro, we can sort of clutch this fight. Now, Zoro came in for Kid, who basically had his special ready to go. We are in the last 30 seconds of the fight, which means Zoro is going to be hitting very, very hard. Queen actually had his special sealed from that Whitebeard special, as I was mentioning in the first fight. That can be really, really annoying, and most of the time when that happens, Queen is the one that gets that special blinded. It can sometimes be Kid, but really, if it ever happens, you really want it to be just Queen. But as soon as we get that shot from Zoro popping off, we are in good stead, and we can say goodbye to his whole team. So that was the closest I ever came to losing, so I really wanted to show that fight. Let's move on to another fight now. And the final fight of the video, we did manage to find the number 2 spot over here in the exhibition. So we're going to be taking on another Quick team. Obviously, he is rocking a Quick team as his defensive team. But nevertheless, it's not exactly the pinnacle of the Quick teams. But I did want to include it anyway, mainly because he is coming second. So I figured, well, if you're coming second and you are rocking this PvP as the Quick team as a defensive team, I'm going to punish you for it, to be honest, because you are rocking the Quick team in Exhibition or Championship. Just know that the DEX team is running around now, and it's not exactly the most viable defensive team. Very similar to Slashes when Rebecca Toy Soldier and Enel came out. Well, unfortunately now, Quick is on the end of the stick. That means that you will be getting clapped if you come up against this specialty team. So, I guess with the release of Enel and Rebecca Toy Soldier nerfing Slashes, and with the release of Moria and Kizaru nerfing Quick, that's their sort of way of just counterbalancing the meta when things start to get a little bit too crazy for that particular color. So Quick was running Riot. Look, Sai and Int aren't that far behind Quick, but Quick was running Riot. They had a lot of support. They've got a lot of very good options, and with the release of Moria and Kizaru, it sort of puts them down a peg and puts them on the same page now as Int and Sai, in my opinion. Mainly because if you do have this DEX team, you're not going to have any issues with coming up against any Quick team whatsoever. You have so much defense down with Moria. We have so much defense with the combination of Kizaru and Kid. We have a lot of HP with Moria and Kid as well. Not Moria. Queen and Moria. We have a bit of damage output, single target damage output with Queen and Cavendish as well. And then we've got the big dogs in the back. Now, just be mindful as well that my particular team is not maxed out. I don't have maxed Pirate Rumble abilities on all my units, namely Queen and Zoro. I don't have them, I do have them all max socketed, I do have them max leveled and max limit broken, but none of these characters are actually rainbowed, which means that their stats in Rumble are a little bit lower. So the potential of this DEX team against the Quick team can be even higher. Now, the big downside I do find to the DEX team, and I haven't done too much testing myself, but I will be in the future, is going up against stuff like Sai, going up against stuff like Int. I just don't think it's going to be able to cut it against those teams, as it is very, very good, but it is very specialized against Quick. So we'll have to wait and see there, but that's going to wrap up today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go in there and belt the like button for me if you're new to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button too, but guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Lates!